Well, hey there, everyone. So, welcome to October Spoopy Month. I am very excited for what I'm going to be doing this month, and that is I'm going to be creating 4 classic Halloween costume looks. When you think of Halloween and costumes, I'm sure everyone in their lives has dressed up as one of these characters just because it's the stereotypical, you know, what you'll dress up for as Halloween. So this week, I'm not going to reveal the other weeks, but this week I am going to be a pirate. I am sure everybody has dressed up as a pirate once upon a time for literally anything. So this week I figured I would do my first stereotypical Halloween look as a pirate, but in my own style, and I make it. So for what I'm going to do for this pirate, I don't really have a set plan exactly. I think I want to do like a nice big pirate jacket. That's definitely one of the things I want to do. And so I did pick up this giant red curtain from Goodwill. So it is thrifted. And then, yeah, so I'm gonna use that for the big jacket that all pirates usually have. And then I think I'm gonna do just like an underbust corset with thrifted materials that I have in my stuff, and most importantly, I thrifted the most perfect boots from Goodwill, and they're like knee high on my short little legs. They're like knee high and they fold over just like a pirate's, and they fit perfectly. Let me tell you, having thick calves is like a curse when it comes to high boots, but these thrifted $20 boots fit me like a glove. It was perfect. Thrifted, man. Goodwill, my dude. That is what I have so far for this. For the jacket, I'm thinking of like, you know, big collar, big cuffs. Generally, when you think of like pirate jackets or colonial, whatever jackets, they have like little loops down the side, like that with like a little button like all the way down the sides of the jacket. So I think I'm gonna try and recreate that kind of look. We'll just see where that takes us. For the underbust, I was considering doing an underbust corset with like a busk and having it be long, but instead I think I'm just gonna do a short underbust because I'm lazy. So I think I'm gonna do that. I also picked up this lace from the Dollar Tree, actually, because in their Halloween section at one point they had this like table runner lace that was like spider webs and spiders and stuff, and so I picked up a couple of them because I thought that would be fun to use for a Halloween look. So I think I'm going to use that maybe to overlay parts of the corset, which would be cool. And it was also super cheap, and I like cheap things. So anyway, I have quite the month planned out, and I'm very excited for what I'm going to be doing because this is fun. Shout out to my lovely friends and family who suggested that I do this. I literally couldn't think of anything, so I reached out to a lot of them and they helped me come up with this idea. So thank you for the help. Anyway, let's get to some sewing. Hello, you have editing, Heather. So pretty much the footage that I got of the making of the jacket got ruined. So I can't really use those clips, so I'm just going to explain it a little bit with screenshots that I took from the videos that I have. So pretty much just some things that I wanted to point out. It's, you know, basically the same thing as making any other jacket like I have on any other video on here, but there are a couple of differences that I just wanted to talk about really fast, and I'll just put some photos up while I talk about it. So the first thing that I did is, while cutting out, I used the same pattern as I did for like the Hobbit jacket. It's just that dress pattern, and I just used the top of it to make a jacket. And so what I did is I pretty much just like lengthened it because I wanted the jacket to be long. And so what I did at the bottom is a little bit different. So I put 2 tabs on either side of the bottom, and that is so I'm gonna sew the pieces together to that tab. and then I'm going to roll the hem on each of those tabs so that it creates a nice slit on the sides of my jacket and on the back. So that's what I did for that. The next thing that I did different was I actually ended up sewing a facing and a yoke, I think it's called, which is the back, for this jacket, rather than just doing the crappy lazy way that I have been doing for the collars. So I ended up doing this so that the collar was actually sewn in right and that there's proper facing on the sides of the jacket. So I cut those out. So pretty much what you do is you cut them out, you sew the two facing to the back yoke, and then you will, with right sides together, pretty much just sew them to the jacket where they fit, with the collar sandwiched on the neckline, which is a very important step that I almost forgot. After that, I just sewed on the arms and I hemmed it, and there's the base of my jacket. And then let's get into the decorating. Okay, so the first thing that I got to decorate this jacket is this really pretty ribbon here that's gonna go around the edge of the jacket. Then I got this cording to do some other decorations with which you'll see soon. And then I got these two buttons from Walmart to do the cuffs, and then these buttons to add to the jacket. So all of these I got from Walmart. So the first thing I'm going to do is I am going to hot glue on all of the ribbon around the edges. So I went around the one strip on the outside of the jacket, and then I mainly did all of the ribbon around the inside of the jacket and up and around the collar on the inside, so that when it's folded out you can see all of the pretty ribbon. To make sure that the ribbon didn't fray and come out, I just folded it over twice and then hot glued that, and then continued to hot glue on the rest of the ribbon. To make the decoration that looks like a little loop around a button, I pretty much just grabbed some hefty parchment paper to make sure that the hot glue didn't stick to it, and what I did is I just kind of made it into a little loop, and then I hot glued on the back, and then I used the parchment to press down on it, and so when that cooled it was nice and flat. And then after that I would hot glue around the end of it so I could stop the fraying, and then I just trim away that hot glue. Now be careful because this is very hot, so use caution when you're patting down the parchment paper over the hot glue. Please be careful while you're doing this. But yeah, so I did 10 of these because there's going to be 5 on each side of the jacket. Then what I did next is I literally just hot glued the buttons onto the edge of the loop to make it look like the loop was going around the button. After that, I positioned the 5 on each side and I just hot glued them down, and I kind of stuck the end of the little cord into a little flap of the lace that was up. It didn't go in all the way. I probably should have done it, you know, before I put on the lace, but I didn't think about it, so I'm just kind of tucking it in a little bit. Now the next thing to do on this jacket is to make the cuff. So I just cut 4 pieces of a nice tall and hefty cuff because pirate jackets usually have really big cuffs on it. So I'm cutting this on fold, and that gives me 4 of these cuff pieces. Usually I would iron on an interfacing to this, but since this is a pretty stiff material, I just didn't feel that I needed to do that, but usually I would. So you're just going to put it right sides together and then sew along all the edges except for the bottom. Then you just turn it right sides out and iron it flat. Now that I have it flat, I'm going to go ahead and add my decorations before I sew it onto my sleeve. So I'm pretty much just using the same lace that I used on the edge of the jacket, just to hot glue it onto the top to give it some decoration. Once you do that, you just go ahead and sew that onto the sleeve. So I did it wrong side to right side, and then you'll fold the cuff down and then to the seam, and then you'll fold it up just a little bit before the seam, and that's how you get it to face the right way. And the last thing that needs to happen for this jacket is to sew on the button for the cuff. I was gonna have it just together, wrong sides together with a little point, but I felt it would be better if I just overlapped them and had this cool little pointing on each side of the button, so that's what I ended up doing. Now it's time for the corset. So I went out and I used my trusty old corset pattern like always, and I pretty much just kind of traced, you know, kind of an underbust distance, and I made it a little bit longer, but then I ended up shortening it later, so that was not a great idea in hindsight. So yeah, I made a point on the top and a point on the bottom, and then what I did is, so this pattern does have a dart in it, so what I did is I just kind of folded it over and I retraced it because I did not want to add a dart in my piece, so I retraced it. And then once I had the shape that I wanted, I went ahead and drew a line on the side, and because I'm going to have a different material for the front panel and the side front panels. After that, I cut out the two separate pieces and then I retraced them so that I could add the proper seam allowance. The front side does not get a seam allowance because it is cut on a fold. Then for the back, it's just a simple, you know, just one piece thing. So I just made sure I got the lengths the same, and I went and traced that and then cut it out like normal. For this corset, I'm going to be using 4 different fabrics. So the front panel, which is on a fold, is going to be cut out of this black satin. The side front is going to be out of this gold satin. And the linings are all going to be out of the same materials that I cut out, so I'm cutting out extra. The side front pieces get this lace overlay, so I'm just cutting out 2 for those because that's not going to be part of the lining. And then lastly, the back piece, I wanted it to be a bit more of a sturdy material because that's going to be a corset back, so I cut it out of the same material that I used for the cuff. So the first thing that I have to do is I have to baste the lace on top of the gold outer fabric of the front side pieces. Once that's done, I can start to put all of the pieces together. So I'm just putting them all right sides together and then laying them out, and I'm going to sew all those together. So I do the same thing for the outer fabric and the lining. Once that's all done and ironed, I'm going to start to put the lace on the top. So this is going to be sandwiched in between the 2 layers. So I'm just kind of pinning it down to the length that I want, and then I'm just pinning the pins out of the way of where I'm going to sew the seam. So once that's all pinned, I'm going to lay the lining on top of it, right sides together, and then sew all around the edge except for the bottom. Once that's done, just go ahead and trim away the excess, and then you can turn it right sides out. Once it's all ironed flat, I'm just going to go and sew my boning channels. So the first thing I do is I'm going to stitch the ditch of all of my seams, and then I'm going to stitch on either side of that, so I have 2 boning channels on each side of the seams. I also sewed 1 boning channel in the center so that the point stays pointed. After that's done, I'm just going to put my boning in. Now I use just hefty, I think the biggest zip ties you can find. You can get them at Walmart, but they do come in a rolled tube, so I get mine at Harbor Freight because that comes in a long package, so you don't have to deal with the bending when you're putting in your boning. After you do that, now you can go ahead and sew on your bias tape. And then the last step is to add the grommets, so I just added 5 on each side. And then of course it's done. Alright, well, here it is. I cannot express to you how freaking happy this jacket makes me. I literally feel like the coolest person in the world wearing this jacket that I made. So, I had a lot of fun making this. I wasn't expecting the corset to turn out very well, and it actually did, so I'm happy with that. The jacket just blows my mind what some hot glue and ribbon can do for you. But yeah, again, this was a curtain. This was material that I thrifted. These bad boys are thrifted boots, and they fit perfectly, which is incredible because you like never have that happen. And I also made this shift a bit ago, so I forgot I had that. And this is my sister's sword. It adds to the look. So yeah, I really enjoyed doing this pirate look in my own kind of way. I actually managed to curl my hair, which is a pretty big feat for me. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Anyways, if you liked this, then stick around because this whole month it's just gonna be Halloween looks. So this week was pirates, the very stereotypical pirates, and in the later weeks will be something. But yeah, so I hope you liked this theme that I did. I'm really enjoying doing this so far. Like, this just turned out so good. It gives me a lot of hope for the rest of the month that I have planned out. So that's 3 more looks that I'm going to be making for Halloween that I'm not going to wear anywhere because I don't go anywhere. I hope you liked what I did. If you did, go and like and subscribe. I post most Fridays, mostly at noon. And also, side note, I have recently started using my Twitter again, so I'm going to start using that for updates for my videos, when I post, why I didn't post, other such and such stuff. So that is gonna pop up somewhere here because I forgot what my handle is. So go and check that out if you want to, and you can just get updates for stuff. So anyways, I'll see you next week, and thank you for watching.